As the studio lights blazed, America's most beloved talk show host Oprah Winfrey took the stage. But this wouldn't be an ordinary day. The sudden appearance of Maya Angelou's recorded message on the screen brought Oprah to tears. "My dear Oprah," Maya said, "I promised Sydney I would deliver this message to you at just the right time." This unexpected moment would become a turning point that changed millions of lives. Here's the powerful story nobody knew. The studio lights blazed with familiar intensity as Oprah Winfrey strode across the polished floor of her set. The audience erupted in applause, phones raised high, capturing the moment when America's most beloved talk show host took her place center stage. Her signature smile radiated confidence, her posture perfect in another impeccably tailored outfit. "Y'all look amazing today," she called out, pointing to faces in the crowd with genuine warmth. The audience responded with even louder cheers. This was Oprah's house, her domain, the empire she had built from nothing. As the applause died down, Oprah settled into her chair. "Today we're doing something a little different," she announced, her voice carrying that perfect blend of authority and intimacy that had become her trademark. "We're talking about defining moments, those crossroads in life where everything changes. We've all had them," she continued, her gaze sweeping across the room. "Those moments when life throws you a curveball, and suddenly everything you thought you knew gets turned upside down. But what really matters isn't the moment itself, it's how you respond to it. Now, I've shared a lot of my life with y'all over the years," she said, her voice dropping slightly. "The good, the bad, and yes, sometimes the ugly. But there are some stories I've kept closer to my heart. Some journeys that felt too personal, too raw to broadcast to the world. 26 years ago, Oprah began, her voice steady but softer now. When I was trying to build this show into something that mattered, I faced challenges that seemed insurmountable. Especially for someone with my background. Suddenly, the large screen behind her flickered to life. Oprah turned, her brow furrowing slightly. This wasn't part of the planned program. On screen appeared the serene, wise face of Maya Angelou, filmed years before her passing in 2014. Oprah's hand flew to her chest in surprise. "My dear Oprah," Maya began, her deep, melodious voice filling the studio. "If you're seeing this message, it means I've kept my promise to Sydney to have this delivered to you when the time was right. And knowing Sydney, he's picked the perfect moment, hasn't he?" Oprah's eyes widened at the mention of Sydney Poitier, her longtime friend and mentor, who had clearly been keeping this recorded message as a secret gift. "Child, I've watched you climb mountains that would have defeated lesser souls," Maya continued. "I've seen you transform pain into purpose in ways that have lifted not just yourself, but millions of others along with you. There's something I want to tell you about courage," Maya said, leaning closer to the camera. "Real courage isn't fearlessness. Real courage is feeling the fear and doing what needs to be done anyway. And baby, you have shown that kind of courage time and time again." A single tear traced its way down Oprah's cheek. "Do you remember that day in my kitchen?" Maya asked. "You were so tired. So beaten down by the forces trying to keep you small. The network executives questioning your every decision. The critics saying you were too emotional, too much, too black. And I told you," Maya continued, her voice rising slightly, "that they were afraid of you. Not because of what you were doing wrong, but because of what you were doing right. You were changing the conversation. You were bringing light to dark places. You were giving voice to the voiceless. I want to talk about that little girl from Mississippi," Maya said, her tone becoming more intimate. "That child who was told she wasn't enough. Who wore dresses made from potato sacks. Who was abused and abandoned and told her voice didn't matter." Oprah's hand moved to cover her mouth, her eyes closing briefly. "That little girl saved herself," Maya declared. "And in saving herself, she learned how to help others save themselves too. That's the true miracle of your life, Oprah Winfrey. Not the money, not the fame, but the way you've used your wounds as windows, letting light shine through the very places where you were broken. I've watched you sit with presidents and paupers," Maya continued, "and give them both the same dignity, the same attention, the same respect. I've seen you ask the questions no one else would ask, and listen, really listen to the answers. When I think about your life," Maya said, her voice gentler now, "I don't think about the accolades or the wealth or the influence. Though Lord knows you've earned every bit of it. I think about the times you've fallen and gotten back up. I think about how you've used your platform not to preach at people, but to help them find their own truth." Oprah was crying openly now, tears streaming down her face, but there was something powerful in her vulnerability. "There's a quote I love," Maya said. "It's from Howard Thurman. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Oprah, you came alive. And in doing so, you've helped millions of others do the same. Now, I know you're sitting there thinking this is too much, Maya said with a knowing smile. That you don't deserve this praise. That there are others more worthy. Stop that right now. False humility serves no one. Own your power, child. Own your journey. Own your impact. I won't be here forever, Maya continued, her voice softening. None of us will. But what will remain is the love we've put into the world. The truth we've spoken. The hands we've held in the darkness. You've done that work, Oprah. You've done it magnificently. And I am so very proud of you. The screen went dark for a moment, then Maya appeared again. Oh, and one more thing, she said, her eyes twinkling. Remember what I told you about blessings? You can't receive them with clenched fists. Open your hands, Oprah. Open your heart. This message is my blessing to you. Receive it fully. The screen faded to black. No one moved. No one spoke. Finally, Oprah took a deep breath and rose from her chair. Well, she said, her voice hoarse with emotion, that was unexpected. Maya Angelou, she continued, was more than my mentor. She was my anchor when life's storms threatened to sweep me away. You know, it's one thing to struggle in private, to face your demons behind closed doors where no one can see your fear, your doubt, your pain. But it's something else entirely to do it in the public eye, with millions of people watching your every move, judging your every decision. Maya taught me something that changed my life, Oprah continued, her voice stronger now. She said, when you know better, you do better. Simple words, but profound. And she lived that truth every day. I think about that little girl from Mississippi that Maya mentioned, Oprah said. That child who was told she wasn't enough. Who wore those potato sack dresses. Who was abused and abandoned. And I marvel at how far she's come. Not just in terms of success or wealth, but in terms of healing. In terms of purpose. In terms of impact. The audience began to applaud, softly at first, then with growing enthusiasm. That's what I want for each and every one of you, Oprah said. Not my path, your path. Not my success, your success. Not my purpose, your purpose. Because the truth is, we all have something unique to offer this world. We all have wounds that can become windows if we're brave enough to let the light shine through. Maya said something else to me once, Oprah continued. She said, your crown has been bought and paid for. Put it on your head and wear it. She wasn't talking about fame or fortune. She was talking about dignity, about self-worth, about recognizing that you are enough exactly as you are, right here, right now. By now, the entire audience was standing, their applause thunderous. So today, Oprah said, raising her voice to be heard, I want you to put on your crown, whatever that means for you, however that looks in your life. And I want you to wear it with pride, not with arrogance, but with the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your value doesn't depend on what others think of you. When the noise finally began to die down, she addressed the camera directly. Maya's message wasn't just for me. It was for you too. For all of us. A reminder that our stories matter. Our journeys matter. Our truth matters. So thank you, Maya. And thank you, Sydney, for knowing exactly when I needed to hear these words. In her dressing room, Oprah sat alone, still processing what had happened. She pulled out a small, worn journal from her desk drawer, one Maya had given her years ago, with an inscription, Write the truths you're afraid to speak. She opened to a fresh page and began to write. Today, Maya reached across time to remind me of who I am. Not Oprah Winfrey the brand, but Oprah Winfrey the human being. The little girl from Mississippi who dared to dream bigger than her circumstances. The woman who turned pain into purpose. The soul who is still, after all these years, a work in progress. A week later, with no fanfare or press releases, Oprah quietly established the Maya Angelou Legacy Scholarship, a program designed to support young girls from backgrounds similar to her own. The requirements weren't based on perfect grades or test scores, but on resilience, determination, and the ability to articulate a vision for changing their communities. In the months that followed, Oprah's show took on a different tone. Still entertaining, still informative, but with a new depth, a new willingness to venture into uncomfortable territories. She shared more of her own struggles, not as sanitized anecdotes but as messy, complicated realities. When asked about the change in an interview, Oprah simply smiled and said, Maya reminded me that the power isn't in the perfection, it's in the truth. And truth, even when it's painful, sets us free. The day after the episode aired, A young woman in Detroit who had been ready to give up on her dreams watched the replay online. As she listened to Maya's words, as she witnessed Oprah's genuine emotion, something shifted inside her too. She picked up the phone and called the community college she had dropped out of 6 months earlier. "I'd like to register for classes," she said, her voice trembling but determined. "I'm ready to try again." And the ripples continued to spread, invisible but powerful, changing lives one heart at a time. Because that's what happens when we have the courage to share our truth. We give others permission to claim theirs. That might be the greatest victory of all.